in. Come on in. I'm running through this morning. Just got finished running some errands. And so I looked up. I said, oh, it's 11:30. I'm supposed to be getting on YouTube. This is my time. So I'm jumping in here. But I want to come on and encourage you all about letting your gift make room for you. You know, we in some unprecedented times, and it's not the first time. We just came out of some hard times in 2024 and 2023. It's pretty difficult for a lot of people, a lot of transitions. People find themselves in precarious situations that they probably never thought that they would encounter, but they did. Some very tough situations. But the human resolve can be strong if we choose to let it. We have to let it. And people have found themselves fighting and being able to overcome, pulling on some skills, some gifts, some talents that may have been laying dormant, but they pulled themselves up by their bootstraps and they made it work. Now here we are in 2025, and it looks like we may be in for some more tough times, at least temporarily. I heard President Trump say maybe a week ago in one of his press conferences, he was out at looked like a airport landing strip. He had just landed from someplace, and a reporter called him, and he was saying that it's going to get tough for a short spell, but he's looking forward to everything getting better. So what that toughness looks like, I don't know. And what it would look like for the average American citizen economically, we don't know what that's going to look like. Especially for every individual, it won't look the same. Some people may feel a slight strain, and other people feel a tremendous strain in their life of how to make a living, especially with a lot of these budget cuts and people being laid off from their job. A lot of people have a lot of pivoting and some decisions to be made. So I want to encourage you in using your gifts. Everybody has come into this earth with a gift. God prepared us when he sent us into the earth. Now, everybody don't know what their gifts are. And then we can also be overlooking a gift because we're looking for something that is maybe in song or dance or writing, or your orator, or an athlete, or gymnastics, something that the mainstream society celebrates, and something that is in the main spotlight, and you can easily recognize that is a gift. So those are gifts too, and also they can be talents. But at the same time, there's gifts that you have that is, maybe you are good at harmonizing or gathering people together. You're good at that. You know how to people easily gravitate to you. Let me put it like that. They gravitate to you, and you're a sociable person. Well, you may be good at being an organizer, and those type of things. Sometimes people don't look at it as a gift. It's just something maybe I learned to do, and I learned to do it well, but it can be both. It can be a gift as well as a learned skill that you learn how to do. So in pulling on your gifts, let it make the room for you. You can have the gift and do nothing with it. You still have the gift, but the gift won't work if you don't activate the gift, right? You all come on in and hit that like button coming on in here. So pulling back on the scripture, let's use that for our reference. We have many references for people having stuff and not using it. And God seems to follow along with what we do. When we look at the rich ruler who had servants, and he went away on a day journey, and he gave talents, and this is a popular story. I know all of you all know this story. He gave them talents, which was equivalent to money in their time. And when he went away, two of the servants did something with their money. They invested it. And one of the servants did nothing with the money. And when their boss returned from his day journey, he asked each one of them what they did. And two of them, they had dividends for him, interest. And he congratulated them. And guess what he did? He promoted them, right? So the last person said, well, I know that you're a hard ruler, and you gather where you have not strawed, you have not sown. And the man got upset with him. He said, you are exactly right. I don't need you. Now I'm paraphrasing you all just to jazz it up, make it look cute. He said, I don't need you to tell me about me. I know that just as well as you know that I gather where I have not sown. So what I gave you, why didn't you do something with it? You're lazy, you're slothful. Now this is a parable. And it says the kingdom of heaven operates just like that. Isn't that what the parable says? All the parables that Jesus gave. He said the kingdom of heaven operates like this. So God is blessing off on this, saying, what I give you, if you don't use it, I would take it from you and give it to somebody who's going to do something with it. Because that is what the boss did with his lazy, slothful servant. He said, I'm going to take what you have and I'm going to give it to somebody who's going to invest it. They're going to do something with it. So there was another parable I think about people going out to the vineyard working. A man hired people, and many people was coming at different times of the day, all hours of the day. And when payout time came for him to pay the day laborers, the ones that came early in the morning got the same pay of the ones that came late in the evening. And so the ones that came early in the morning got upset and said, it's not fair. We've been here all day slaving, sweating. Our hands is raw. My back is weak. And you're going to pay me the same thing that you paid the one that just been here for 2 hours? Come on now. You got to do better than this. This is not fair. The man said, is it not right for me to do what I will with what belongs to me? I'm giving you something. You came here, you did the work. I evaluated your work. Good job. Thank you. You did the work. And you're asking something of me. I'm giving you what I want to give you. This person, for whatever reason, got this paid. Now we don't know why the boss made that decision, right? Same thing with God. We don't know why he made the decisions that he made. Just as he says, those who come into our salvation walk, we can come early in our life, maybe in your mid-20s, early 20s, maybe teenager, you come into your walk with God, and that's a good thing. Somebody can come in on their latter years, senior citizen. They don't have to be a senior citizen. Maybe they fall ill in mid-age or something, and they go into their final days of life, and they accept God. They say, I will receive everybody just the same if you want me. I will receive an earnest, sincere prayer. So what I'm getting at is God gives. He gives of himself, and he gives of himself liberally. So the gift that you have, don't see your gift as a small thing. I don't have what that one have. I can't sing and dance like that. I'm not an athlete, and I'm not an orator. And I don't publish books. I'm not a writer. But you can be good at babysitting children. Children are comfortable around you. You keep them safe. You know how to keep them entertained, and then giving them productive things to do. You're good at that. You're good at that. And people notice that about you. Even if it's just the people, your cousins, people in your local community, they notice that. You are good at that. Gifts don't look the same in everybody because we're all unique human beings. So let God use what your hands are good at. You might be good at drawing little simple art figures, just little simple things. You took an anime class in school, but since your hands have always, you fidget with your hands, and you know how to tinkle, and you fix things, and you like to draw, amateur drawer, but still you like to draw. Don't look at that as something small and insignificant, because you don't know what you're going to have to do in these economic terms right here, where a lot of change is taking place. You don't know what you're going to have to do. You can even have a high skill position, or you've been to college and you're a degreed person, or you've been to a vocational school and you're a degreed person, or you have your certification, you've been to the military, whatever you've been doing. So you have skill. But with all these layoffs, with the downsizing of the government, people are looking for work. They don't know how the tables are going to turn for them. There's a lot of uncertainty going on. So in the meantime, while you're trying to just get yourself set up in a good position, keep striving. Don't ever give up on you. If everybody else give up on you, don't you give up on you. So while you're striving, put your hands to something. Put your hands back to those gifts that you may see as insignificant. They're small. Nobody's really interested in it. You don't know who's interested in it. Don't close the door on what somebody else might be interested in. Here's this internet out here. I always say, I tell the audience over there on Facebook a lot. I said, I'm so happy for the internet. Even though there's so much negativity that can be shared on this internet. Look like I got disconnected. So there can be a lot of ugly things that get shared on these platforms on the internet. But also, in this information age, this internet is a blessing. These platforms is a blessing. So many people have found a new lease on life. Just getting on here and sharing their personality, sharing their experiences, giving their testimonies, doing DIYs, encouraging people, sharing their skill sets. Oh my goodness, it has changed so many people's lives. Even not just economically. People have learned to grow an income on these platforms. Meeting people. There are some lonely people sitting there in their homes and they've always felt like an outcast. Or they've been rejected, been hurt, gone through a divorce, or the adult children the parents and the adult children are getting along so well. And people have found commonality and fellowship right here online, on this internet. It could be a beautiful tool, even though it could be a dangerous tool. You have to use discretion, be careful out here on the internet, and definitely what you share on the internet, because there's lurkers and people just following your channels, and they don't mean you no good. They're just showing up. But at the same time, you got to bypass that and not lessen yourself and try to slink back because somebody else looking. Well, whether they're looking at you in person or looking at you online, they still looking. So what are you supposed to do? Shut down your life because somebody got an opinion and somebody looking? You got to use your gifts. Use your skill. Use what God give you and let it make a space for you. It will make the room, but guess what? You got to let it make it. Or you can shut your hands down, shut you down and say, well, don't nobody want to hear me. I don't know if I have anything interesting to say. But guess what? That's nerves because you hadn't done it before. So you're second guessing yourself. Everybody does that. But all you have to do is just strike out, strike out and make you a video and see how many people come into that video. You got people out here doing how to make thumbnails, how to label your video and put your hashtags in there. There's plenty of videos like that. Plenty of people making these videos. And somebody video is going to be of interest to you. It's going to make sense and click to you. All you have to do is just be willing. Because again, you don't live invisible. Your classmates see you in your local community. Your relatives see you. Your workmates see you. Your community sees you. You're not invisible. So what's the difference in getting online? Just don't get on there and embarrass your employer. Don't get on there and threaten anybody. Don't get on there and do anything to embarrass yourself and degrade yourself. Don't do any of that. But get on there. Just be relaxed and live your life. Share what you got to share because there's somebody waiting to hear your testimony. There's somebody waiting to hear your dialect. They're waiting to hear your stammer. They're waiting to hear your southern drawl. They're waiting to hear your Midwestern accent. Whatever you got, your experience is going to connect with somebody. It's doing it. You see other people doing it, but because you're scared, you hadn't done it before, that's understandable. But you can stop your gift from making room for you. You can stop. Because again, just like anything, you could be an amateur piano player. But the more you play it, the saying is, practice make perfect. Practice make better and better and better. So be raw. Get out here and make your amateur video, your rough cut video. Everybody had to start with a video. And let it take you from that video to your 9th video, to your 18th video, to 160th video. Now you've gotten comfortable. People look forward to you showing up at the time of day that you tell them that you're going to show up. It could be something just like that. Let your gift that God gave you make the room for you, but don't look for the gift just to pop out some kind of way. it's going to magically, people going to come looking for you, but you're not putting it out there. How are they going to find you? Just like people say about dating. If you're trying to date, how would somebody know who you are and find you if you don't get out the house? They're not going to come and knock on your door. I hope you're not looking for somebody to come and knock on your door. That can be a perpetrator or some dangerous person that's been stalking you. But you have to get out there and don't put yourself in embarrassing situations and something to minimize your testimony. But at the same time, you just go into decent, pleasant places, respectable places, just to be seen, just be out in public, socializing. Same thing with your gift. It's got to be seen. People got to see it. Make a faceless channel. People got to see it. Put it out there so that they can experience you and what you have to offer. Put the gift out there. We have work to do. God won't let the gift work. He ain't going to push the gift out of us. He said, I gave it to you. You've been had it all your life. Think back to those young ages too. Younger ages. If you're an adult now, think back to maybe 11 years old, 9 years old, because you already been doing it. You already been doing your gift. You just been overlooking it. It's been laying dormant, or you see it as insignificant. It don't mean nothing. Nobody wants to hear me say that or talk about that. They don't want to see me walk backwards. I don't know. You might have a gift to walk backwards and you can walk good in a straight line. I don't know. Just coming up with something. But don't overlook small things. You need to sit quietly with yourself and evaluate things you did in childhood that you actually liked. You might not do it now, but you can reevaluate that and bring it back to life. Bring it right back up. So, yeah, we got a lot to go through. And this is what I wanted to bring up too. I saw a young man make a post, and he said since there have been a lot of people being deported recently, that it opened up an opportunity for him to get a job. He walked onto a construction site and he got hired immediately. And he attributed it to people being deported because he felt like people, illegal people was in the country held those jobs, and they may have. Now, I'm not talking about American citizens. We're talking about people who was here illegally. And now that people are leaving, jobs are open. And that is a way that many people are walking in on some positions that have become open. Look into that also. And be faithful, show up, do what you have to do. But going back to another statement, and this may be hurtful to somebody, it shouldn't be hurtful, you all. You got to move past, execute past emotions. And then we don't want to be in the Christian body, you don't want to wear light conscience, where you're easily offended about things. Somebody says something, oh, I'm offended. Humans are not that offended. That's weak-willedness when you're easily offended by something. You have to let God strengthen you. That's what God is for. He's for our inner nature, for our inner person. That's what he's for. And he grows you and strengthens you. So you're not easily offended, easy to cry, easy to complain. It's just an easiness about your emotion moves you. So hear words, and if you don't agree with something, you just dismiss it. You don't agree with it. But to get yourself riled up because of what somebody said, that's a weakness in the soul. That's called weak will, or weak mindedness, and God can strengthen you from that. So, but Donald Trump said in his candidacy, and he mentioned during one of his when he was debating Joe Biden that early in the candidacy, he said they mentioned black jobs. A lot of people got offended. Black jobs. Where are you trying to take people back to? Why did he mention black and Hispanic jobs? Hispanic jobs was mentioned too. So a lot of people took offense with that. Now, what I took from that, and people get offended by what they want to, but at the same time, evaluate. Always be an evaluator of what a person is talking about. Get the narrative of what's being talked about, and not let's be moved with every word. A word gets said and trigger you. That's not good. I took it as unskilled labor. Unskilled labor. Maybe you have not been to college. Everybody don't want to go to college. And don't have those degrees. You have not gone to vocational classes and gotten different certifications. Okay, so that puts you in an unskilled labor market. then there are some jobs that's pretty much catered to that market because all adults need to work. Able-bodied adults need to work. So what are you going to do for work? There has to be jobs. So someone was saying, well, do you think that since a lot of illegal people who's been in the country is leaving now, and that statement that Donald Trump made months ago about black jobs, do you think this is some type of equivalency? Is matching up, and this is what he was trying to get to, taking black people back to a certain time and era of life? No. Now see how you can exaggerate and stretch things out of proportion? No. All black people are not doing the same thing. All black people are not unskilled workers. All black people are not in the same space in their life. Everybody's striving to do different things. And even if you don't have a degree, you don't have to have one. There are many entrepreneurs and they've never stepped in a classroom past high school. Or they've gone and take individual college classes to get the credits, but they didn't stay to get 2 to 4 year, 6 year, 8 year degrees. But they have college credits. So we're talking about strictly unskilled labor right there, and jobs have opened up. Are you willing to take it? Are you willing to use your skill sets, bring up your skills, and take it into that marketplace, take it into that workplace, and utilize your skills? You should be putting your skills everywhere you go in life because it's naturally germane to you. So everywhere you go, you pour out that skill because can't nobody do you like you do you. You're uniquely you. You're a customized individual. Don't let that customization go to waste and spit in God's face and say, this gift you gave me ain't good enough. Don't be ungrateful. Always have a grateful attitude. Be grateful before the living God. And then he will enlarge your territory. Because that's a statement that a lot of people say in their prayer, God, enlarge my territory. Why would he enlarge it when you're not making good use of being a good steward over the territory that he's entrusting to you? You got to show yourself faithful in small measure. And then he enlarges your territory. See, God works in steps. He works in measure. He watches us. Remember the Bible said God watches how we think. He know what we think before we even say it. You ain't got to mumble one syllable of a word. God knows what you're thinking. So he sees how we moving in our life. What you're doing. What you're doing with the little things. Why would I trust you with something big when I can't trust you with something small? You got to let God see your faithfulness. It's not about brown noses and running up behind another human and saying, well, I'm trying to impress this human. Well, you want to show yourself to be faithful to a human too, especially if they're a supervisor. But at the same time, God is watching you. He's watching why you do what you do. A motive way in God. Let God find you faithful and let God see your attitude right, see your faithfulness right, because he's weighing our motives. He sees your motives, even if you feel misunderstood by people. God knows your real intentions. Just be faithful toward God, have a good attitude, and let that gift open up and make space for you. That's how that space is made. Just being faithful before God with what he gave you. Say, I'm taking this and I'm going to do the best I can with it. I'm making it do what it do. Thank you all for coming in. My name is Vanessa, and I appreciate you for showing up here today. Hit that like button on your way in here, on your way out, and watch the next video. Take care, you all.